Looks like we got ourselves a launch date. So, early access for Path of Exiles 2 is slated for November 15th. Looks like it's going to be available on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and then you can just register your email here. This is just the main website that's going to highlight kind of everything that we're going to be seeing. I'm going to give a really quick rundown of all of this, and I highly recommend that you check out the YouTube video that Grinding Gear Games published about this announcement. So, Path of Exile 2, we have some little fun things here. This is pretty typical to Path of Exile. So, a grand adventure, journey across the deadly continent of Array-classed, meeting multiple immersive cultures while facing off against evil in many forms. Combat redefined, do battle with corrupted abominations and divine creations alike, wielding skills that can be used together in graceful combinations. Path of Exile 1. Design your build, choose your own skills, and don equipment of your choosing. Path of Exile 2's skill trees allows class to specialize in any style of combat, which is pretty crazy. So basically, it seems based on that, any class can do any style. So if it was traditionally a melee build, you might be able to use a bow now, which is pretty exciting. Scrolling down a little bit, it looks like we're going to have 12 characters to pick from Path of Exile 2, with 4 characters being kind of grayed out here, so to speak. So I'm anticipating that this initial soft launch is going to only feature these 8 characters. So we have the Warrior, standard. We have the Ranger, standard again. The Huntress, which is new, which could be pretty cool. It looks like there's some I'm getting kind of necromancer type vibes off of this. The Sorceress, which we've seen many times before. The Mercenary, which is pretty interesting in this one. Looks like this might be a bow class of some sort, maybe similar to like a rogue. We have the Monk, which is again a pretty interesting idea, pretty interesting concept, especially for this style of game. We have the Druid, which is again something we've seen with other games before, but I'm curious to see if they're going to play into some of the more summoning side of the Druid. And then last we have the Witch, which is again, I think we're going to be pretty close to the Sorceress, but I'm excited to play it either way. We have the customizable skill system. This is something that we saw in Path of Exile 1, which is something we still currently see. Any class can use any skill gem, and those skill gems can be further modified by up to 5 support gems that can drastically alter how the skills work. Very exciting. In addition, you can now dual specialize your passive skill tree, allowing your character to switch between 2 wildly different fighting styles at will. This is going to be pretty big. So think about the Path of Exile 1 skill tree, and now if you have a specialty for your Path of Exile 1 character, now you're going to be able to pick 2. So essentially opening up a ton of different ways to play the game, which is very exciting. In-depth equipment system, this is nothing new that we have seen. Explore new endgame. So at the conclusion of Path of Exile 2's Act 6 campaign, this is going to have 6 acts similar to Path of Exile and again other games of this style. You'll gain access to its endgame. Each of the more than 100 endgame maps has its own boss fight and modifiers that enable revamped versions of many of Path of Exile's past leagues. So essentially, it's going to be very similar to Path of Exile 1. We're going to be seeing a map structure. Whether or not that is fleshed out the same way as we do in Path of Exile 1, we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, very excited for this game. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you on the next one.